Roy over at Blue Roy Movies just posted a video today where it was counting down his top 10 science fiction movies or sci-fi movies. And I talk a lot about sci-fi on this channel because it's my favourite genre. But I've never done a top 10 of my favourite sci-fi movies. And even though it wasn't a challenge, I felt the urge to do a top 10 of my favourite science fiction films. There are 10 here. I've talked about a few of these in the past. And it's not going to be that much of a surprise for some of these that are going to be in my top 10. But I've got 10 movies and 2 honourable mentions that I'm going to add at the end. Actually, the 2 honourable mentions I'm going to do at the start. So the first one is Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. I like all the Star Trek movies from the original crew. I say I like them all. There's 2 that I'm not overly fussed on, I guess, which would be the motion picture. Even though it's a good film, it feels like an extended episode, which is probably why it was originally extended from a television episode that was going to be in a rebooted sort of 70s set, not 70s set, but 70s rebooted Star Trek. Which was then scrapped, and then they came up with the idea of doing the motion picture. I love Wrath of Khan. I love Search for Spock. I'm not overly fussed on the Final Frontier, which is the 5th, but I love Undiscovered Country. I do like the next gen movies, not as much. I think Generations is really good, and First Contact are fantastic. Insurrection I can take or leave, and Nemesis is just it's rubbish. But Voyage Home is the most enjoyable Star Trek film to date. There's so much fun in this movie. Leonard Nimoy did such a great job directing this. Shatner's great in it. They're all just fantastic in this. And the scene where they have to get Chekhov out of the hospital is fantastic. So yes, that's honourable mention number 1. Honourable mention number 2 is a film from the 1960s, and I've talked about this film before. This is called The Earth Dies Screaming. This is a British sci-fi movie directed by Terence Fisher and starring Willard Parker. This is a very short film. It's only just under 70 minutes, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, it's not very long. I think it's about 70 minutes long, and it's a little British sci-fi movie set in a small town, small village somewhere in England, and it's about an alien invasion of these robotic aliens that cease to work at a specific radio frequency. It's a good little film. It has that sort of weird small town England, small village England feel to it. A bit like Children of the Damned and oh god, what else is there? A lot of the old Hammer horror movies were set in small English villages and stuff. But yeah, Earth Dies Screaming is really good. So that's an honourable mention. So these 10, they aren't in any form of order. These are just my 10 favourite science fiction films. I can't work out a top 10, so I don't know where to put these in that 10. All I know is that these are my 10 favourite. So first one is Steven Spielberg classic, and I know this was on Roy's countdown as well. I think it's probably going to be on a lot of people's sci-fi countdown. It is Steven Spielberg's Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977. This film is incredible. This is such a good movie. It stars Richard Dreyfuss and Francois Truffaut, the French director. And yeah, this was this was his follow-up after Jaws. Before Jaws, he made Sugarland Express, and before that was Jewel. And this was technically his third film, considering Jewel was a film of the week, which I think was extended for European theatres by Spielberg to feature length. But so this was technically his third theatrical movie, but also his fourth movie. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind, such a good film. And just think, he followed Close Encounters up with 1979. That's not 1970, 1949, which is horrendous. Why? And then he did E.T. and Indiana Jones. But Close Encounters is so good. Has a fantastic, probably my favourite score, or my second favourite John Williams score for a Spielberg movie. My first favourite John Williams score is the score for E.T. For a Spielberg film, but my favourite John Williams score is the score for Return of the Jedi. I think it's incredible. I think it's better than Empire and A New Hope. But this is all about the first contact of an alien race. But this is one of the nicest films you'll ever see. There's nothing horrible in this, and it draws on Spielberg's own life as a child of divorced parents, where you can see that coming through between the relationship between Roy Neary, who was played by Richard Dreyfuss, and his wife, played by she recently passed away. She was in Young Frankenstein. Damn, what's her name? But yeah, she plays his wife, and it's such a good film, so good. The scene at the end with the mothership above Devil's Rock, Wyoming, it's incredible. But yeah, really great special effects. This is the 30th anniversary edition, and it has multiple cuts on it. I think it's the extended cut or the special edition, which has Roy boarding the alien craft at the end. Just a great movie, just so good. Then this was also on Roy's list, and I think it would again be on a lot of people's lists. It is Paul Verhoeven's incredible RoboCop from 1980. I want to say 87, but I think it's 88. 1987, I was right. RoboCop, 1987. Violent, satirical, just such a good film. Peter Weller as Murphy, Nancy Allen as what's her name? Can't remember her name now, even though I've seen this film a million times. This is the problem when I make these videos, is that I know I don't write anything, so when I'm trying to remember characters' names, I just draw blanks. But yeah, just so good. Kurtwood Smith as Clarence Boddicker, great villain. Kind of threw me off a little bit when I saw that 70s show for the first time, and Clarence Boddicker shows up as Eric Foreman's dad, Red Foreman. But yeah, this is such a good film. I think I do have another Paul Verhoeven movie in this list, but the production design on this, the costume, I say the costume, the suit, which I think was created by I thought it might have been this has happened. It's again. I thought it was Rob Bottin, but it's not. It's Rick Baker. I think Rick Baker created the costume for this, but I'm not 100% sure. If it's not Rick Baker and it's not Rob Bottin, it's probably Stan Winston. But yeah, this is so cool. It's so violent. The scene where Boddicker's gang destroy Murphy pre-RoboCop is just ridiculously gruesome. And there's some really good uses of stop motion and practical effects in this. It's so good. Also, Ed 209. The only problem with this is the long arms at the end. RoboCop, great movie. Then we have a film that I have talked about before as well, and it is Flash Gordon. This is the 4K release of Flash Gordon. I love Flash Gordon. It was a film we watched religiously in my house every Christmas and Easter whenever Channel 4 or ITV showed it. Such a good movie, directed brilliantly by Mike Hodges. And it's just a great movie. Sam J. Jones as the classic pulp character Flash Gordon, joined by Melody Anderson as Dale Arden, and as Dr. Hans Zarkov. You've got what's his name? I can't remember his name now. Topal, that's his name, or Topal. Brian Blessed as Hawk Guy. Max von Sydow was Ming the Merciless. Fucking amazing. Ornella Muti as his daughter. She was stunning. She still is, as a 67 or 70-year-old woman. Who else is in this? Oh, Timothy Dalton as Prince Barton. Oh, Prince Baron, sorry, not Prince Barton. Prince Baron. I love this. The opening of this. Clytus, what plaything do you have for me today? So good. So good. And the soundtrack by Queen is just phenomenal. You know when it starts dum 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 Flash. So good. Love it. Richard O'Brien's in this as well, and the guy from Blue Peter. Can't remember his name now. But yeah, Flash Gordon's amazing. Like I said, brilliantly directed by Mike Hodges. I love the production design on Flash. It's so 60s and weird, and just it looks like Barbarella, but made something like 14 years later. It's so good. So yeah, Flash Gordon's in my my top 10. Some good artwork on there. There's Ornella Muti. Clytus, what plaything do you have for me today? Brilliant movie. Love it. And it looks stunning on 4K. Then we have the second of my Paul Verhoeven movies. And this film, I remember when this film came out in 1997. And there was a weird thing in the UK because its age rating fluctuated. It went 12 to 15 to 18, back to 15, but then back up to an 18. And no, it wouldn't have been a 12, sorry. It would have been 15, then 18, then 15, then 18. But this film is so good. I watched this not that long ago. And when I say I watched it not that long ago, I mean just before we moved here. So just over a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. And it's Starship Troopers. It is a mean planet. It is a bug planet. This film is so good. It kicks so much ass. It is so violent, so gory, and just so great. Fantastic film by Paul Verhoeven. The whole idea of a satirical military dystopian type movie where the Earth is attacked by these giant space bugs on a planet millions of light years away called Klendathu, and there's these brain bugs, and then there's these arachnid bugs that look like spiders. They got multiple legs. The VFX by Phil Tippett is incredible. Fantastic soundtrack by Basil Polderis. Just so good. It's so good. Even the cast in it of young actors are really good in this big blockbuster sci-fi action movie. You've got Casper Van Dien as Johnny Rico. You've got Denise Richards as Carmen. You've got Dinah Meyer as Dizzy. You've got, who else is in this? Neil Patrick Harris. There's also, who else is part of their little crew? So it's Neil Patrick Harris, Jake Busey's in it. Patrick Muldoon, who's far too old to be in high school at the beginning. He looks about 45. But yeah, so good. And what tops this off is the fact that Michael fucking Ironside is in this, and Ironside is a damn legend. But yeah, so good. It's based on the novel by Robert Heinlein, but it steers very much sort of away from the novel itself, because in the novel and in the animated TV show called Roughnecks, the Starship Troopers Roughnecks, the Starship Troopers, or the troopers from the Roughnecks, which is Rico's Roughnecks, but started off as Radchak's Roughnecks, they had like mech suits, which is really cool, but they weren't in this. But this film is just awesome. Would you like to know more? Are you doing your part? The only good bug is a dead bug. So good. So yeah, Starship Troopers, fucking love that movie. Then we have, and I think this was on Roy's as well. It was actually. It is Will Smith's big blockbuster movie of 1996, Independence Day. I adore this film. I can watch this film over and over again and never get bored of it. Will Smith, Bill Pullman, Jeff Goldblum, who else is in it? Vivica Fox is in this, Robert Loggia, Brent Spiner's in this, Judd Hirsch. The film is so good, and it's just bonkers, like full on old school, almost like 1950s sci-fi, but on a huge budget. It's like Earth versus the Flying Saucers, but on a budget of like 120 million. Also, it's very reminiscent of the TV show V, because the opening of V, you have these gigantic spaceships that are hovering over cities in America and other places in the world. And this opens with these huge spaceships, these huge flying saucers that are hovering over, like they burst through the clouds and they hover over the city. But it's also got Randy Quaid, pre-nutcase Randy Quaid in this as Russell Case, and it's fucking awesome. I love it. I love it. And David Arnold's score is phenomenal, and it's never talked about enough as for being such a great score. And David Arnold also did the original score for Stargate, which was also directed by Roland Emmerich and written by Dean Devlin. But yeah, I fucking love this film. I love it so much, and now I want to watch it. Now that's what I call a close encounter. So good. What else we got coming up? I'm gonna do this one now because, you guys know that I absolutely love this movie, and it's The Last Starfighter. It's a film about a kid who lives in a trailer park and plays a arcade machine that turns out to be a recruiting tool to find a candidate who can join the Starfighter League, or the Star League, to battle the Kodan Armada, who are a group of aliens fighting another group of aliens, and he becomes the pilot of a ship called the Gunstar, and he has a partner called Grigg, played by Dan O'Herlihy. This film's so good. Lance Guest, Catherine Mary Stewart, directed by Nick Castle, who I mentioned before. Also wrote and directed The Boy Who Could Fly, which is a phenomenal film that I can't find anywhere. I don't even have a DVD of The Boy Who Could Fly. I have a copy downloaded from a torrent site on my hard drive. Nick Castle was also the original Michael Myers. But yeah, I'm not going to go on too much about The Last Starfighter. All I know is that I fucking love this movie. Another film which is massively underrated, and I don't understand why, because it's probably the last good film from this director. And it's got a fantastic, probably the best Morricone score of the later half of his career. but it's Brian De Palma's, massively underrated, and just so good. It's Mission to Mars. This film, like I said, is massively underrated. It flopped when it came out. It was critically panned. I don't understand why. This film is gorgeous. It's got Gary Sinise in it, and he is always watchable in every single thing he does. Even that really crap sci-fi film based on a Philip K. Dick novel called Imposter, which used clips from Starship Troopers. That film sucks, but Gary Sinise is fucking awesome in it. It's Tim Robbins, who doesn't really... He's not in it that much, but you've got Don Cheadle in it. You've got Bridget... No, sorry, Connie Nelson, Jerry O'Connell, and I'm struggling to read the back. Kim Delaney, sorry. Yeah, it's about a group of astronauts who are sent to Mars to find out what happened to a previous mission to Mars, and they discover a face on the planet surface, sticking out of the planet's surface, and we learn about the history of mankind, and it's just amazing. I love it. And like I said, Morricone's score for this is just so beautiful and so good. Mission to Mars, watch it, love it, so good. It's better than Red Planet, by the way. And then the last three. So this would be George Pal's fantastic adaptation of H.G. Wells's The Time Machine. This is a childhood favourite of mine. I still absolutely adore this movie to this day. I also adore the musical score, which was written and conducted by a man called Russell Garcia. This stars Rod Taylor and Yvette Mimieux, and it's amazing. It also has Alan Young as his friend, Philby. If you don't know who Alan Young is, you'll know his voice. So if you've ever watched DuckTales, the animated show, not the new DuckTales that had David Tennant, but the original DuckTales from the late 80s, early 90s, they made a movie called Treasure of the Lost Lamp. Alan Young was the voice of Scrooge McDuck. And he plays George's friend, Philby, in this. And he appears throughout different stages of George's first few attempts at travelling through time using the time machine. But yeah, this film's so good. Rod Taylor is just amazing. Like I was talking the other day. What was I talking about the other day? I was talking about Rod Taylor in, I think it was the 70s video. Maybe? But yeah, like Rod Taylor was just a beast. And just a really good actor as well. He was in that film the film I mentioned the other day, actually, which was Dark of the Sun, aka The Mercenaries. Just a great movie. But yeah, George Pal's Time Machine adaptation of the H.G. Wells' The Time Machine. So good. The Morlocks. Yeah, look at that artwork as well. That artwork is absolutely gorgeous. And you guys know that this is one of my favourite films one of my favourite science fiction films, because I've talked about it and I've shown my other collector's edition. And it is the fantastic Forbidden Planet with Roberto the Robot, who is his Spanish counterpart. This film just blows my mind every time I watch it, because it was made in 1954? Sorry, 1956. And the visual effects for this film are just stunning. The matte paintings are so good. The little animated electric light, lightning lines that show the spacemen, the astronauts, where the id are coming from. It's just so good. It's fantastic. And this is just, I just love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. This is the premium collection edition, Blu-ray. I do have the collector's edition DVD, which I did show the other day in the big red tin. But yeah, this film, so goddamn good, man. It's so goddamn good. And I love that cover art. There's some really cool cover art in here, actually. I don't know if they put the... Yeah, so this has got some art cards in there. And it has both the Blu-ray and the DVD, which is pretty cool. So there we are. That is number 9, I guess. The 9th film in my top 10 films. It's not number 9, but it's the 9th film. And finally, what type of science fiction fan would I be if I didn't include at least one film from this insanely huge franchise? And it is Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I've got... What have I got? I've got the Skywalker collection, or Saga collection. I've got the 2004 Silver DVD Original Trilogy collection. I have the 3 prequels on DVD, and they're also in the Skywalker Saga as well. These are the special editions that came out not long after the 2004 editions. This is the limited edition that comes with the original theatrical release on 2 discs. So it has the 1997 version with all the visual effects, and then on the other disc it has the original 1981 or 1980 theatrical version, but it's in a very unremarkable aspect ratio. They've done nothing to it to remaster it or anything, but it's something you need. If you haven't got the old VHSs of Star Wars, then you need to get hold of these. I picked these up so super cheap. I think it was like £1.50 and £2 in CEX. But yeah, Empire Strikes Back. Why do I love Empire Strikes Back? I love all the original Star Wars movies. I did this the other day. I said Star Trek. I love all the original Star Wars movies. It was a toss-up between Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back. Now, one of the reasons I chose Empire Strikes Back, even though I love Return of the Jedi and I love the score from Return of the Jedi, there's something about Empire that is just so good. Like, I think it just expands on the universe even more than what was expanded on in the first film. So we find out more about the Jedi when Luke goes to train with Yoda. We find out the big twist about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And everything just works. You've also got the burgeoning romance between Han Solo and Princess Leia. It's just so good. So there we are. Star Wars Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. And also the action sequences in this are incredible. And the lightsaber duel between Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker on the floating city of Bespin is amazing. So there we go. That is my top 10, or my 10 favourite science fiction films of all time. We have some classics and some not so classics, or not so classics, but we have some classics, some cult films, and some obvious choices there. Check out Roy's channel. It's linked on the bottom of my homepage on the of the YouTube channel under Blue Roy Movies, but go and check him out. He's got a massive collection and he uploads quite regularly as well. So yeah, cheers for giving me the inspiration for this, Roy. And yeah, so as usual, I am Pedro. This has been Pedro's Movie Cavern, and I am going to give you a salute. I'm going to throw up the peace sign, and I'm going to tell you I am out. Cheers, everyone. Have a good one.